Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 5 of Shocker Family Connections. My name is Tia Hill, Assistant Director in the Office of Student Involvement, and we're going to talk today about involvement on campus, specifically related to student involvement programs as well as campus recreation. And so as we get started today, I want you to know that you can enter any of your questions in the comments section. If you're viewing this from YouTube Live, you'll need to log into YouTube and enter your comments. And then if you're viewing this from Facebook Live, you can really enter your questions at any time. I'll be moderating the program after myself and Director John Lee of Campus Recreation complete our presentation. So if you have any questions, again, at any time, you can answer them in that section. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm actually going to kick it off today, and I'm going to talk to you about student involvement. So this whole series of events is related to how you can continue to support your student regardless of where they are. So if they're on campus or if they're at home, if they're feeling that disconnect or looking for their community, we're here to help support and provide that. Both John and I, and most of the folks that you've seen this week are part of the Division of Student Affairs. And our motto is connecting every student. Under that motto, our intention is to provide opportunities to connect students to social opportunities, educational, help them find friends, help connect them with job opportunities and prospects, connect them with the skills that they need to win the job, whether that's developing some of those leadership skills or practical skills or hard skills. Those are all things that we do within student involvement. And under that umbrella within our area, we really focus on connecting students with student organizations that are going to help them learn some of those skills in any student organization or group that they are introduced to. At surface level, they're going to start to build connections and they're going to build their network. That's a network of friends. That's a network of professionals like myself as an advisor to a student organization, or that could be through some of the administrators or partners or speakers that maybe come and visit their student group throughout the year. So we're going to build those connections through the student groups that they enter. Depending on their level of involvement with that student group, they're going to start to develop some other skills. They're going to develop more time management just from being held responsible of showing up to a meeting at a certain time every week. They're going to be given a certain level of responsibility, whether that is helping to plan an event or to promote an event or activity or recruit new members. So that level of responsibility is going to help them with that time management. It's going to help them with accountability and also some critical thinking, because planning events or promoting programs on campus is not an easy task, and it does take some thought and some processes. So they're going to learn some new skills. So we hope that your student is finding their niche here on campus, that they're connected to some of those student organizations or groups. And if they're not, that's what I'm going to talk to you about. So what are some of those opportunities that exist on campus, and what are some of those groups that they could join to get some of those skills and to connect to other folks on campus or even virtually and through platforms like Zoom or Teams. So I'm actually going to introduce you to our website, and I'm going to do that because it's really the best place to find the information that you need or that your student might need. So I'm going to share my screen real quick, and then I'm going to talk you through some of this information. Let me share my screen first. That would probably help. So this is the student involvement website. You'll see a video at the beginning of it. At the top of the website, these are our student leaders that I will tell you, some of these are organic videos, some of these are not, but what it is our student leaders showing them in their day-to-day activities. Those activities are joining the Student Activities Council, the Student Government Association, providing service on campus or in the community. That is what you'll find if you visit the Student Involvement website from that video. But what I want to highlight for you is if you scroll down, you'll find more information about student involvement. And as I mentioned, our goals are really to connect your student with opportunities to engage. And if you scroll a little farther, you'll see information about events on campus. I'll talk to that in a little bit, but I do want to highlight our ways to get involved. So we have multiple ways that students can get involved here at Wichita State. Specifically in our office and the work that my team does, we directly advise student organizations, the Community Service Board, the Student Activities Council. We also advise our Student Government Association, and we oversee all of Fraternity and Sorority life, as well as provide guidance to over 300 student organizations on campus. It sounds like a lot, but those are a variety of activities and experiences for your student. Not all student is the same. The only common denominator they have is that they're a registered and enrolled student here at Wichita State. That is it. Their values are different, their interests are different, their perspectives on life are different. And so those opportunities vary so that we can provide as many opportunities and experiences for your student as possible. So all of our groups that I have here, the Community Service Board, I'll start there. Community service, we know, is a value of many of our students on campus, and our Community Service Board is a group of students who are geared with providing service opportunities. They do that through partnerships with the United Way, or we're working this year with Meals on Wheels, Big Brothers Big Sisters. There's a lot of programs that they offer, and those events and activities can be found at this upcoming events page. So if your student is interested in service, they can browse those upcoming events here, and then they can also learn how to join the Community Service Board to continue to host some of those events and get direct service experience. So the Community Service Board, they actually have some upcoming events. As I mentioned, they've been doing Meals on Wheels. They've also been doing, Wednesdays at the diner. So they'll do go downtown to the Lord's Diner and help serve meals to folks in need downtown. So again, those events and things for Community Service Board, you'll find them linked from our website at wichita.edu/involvement. I'm going to pop back in here as I navigate this screen a little bit. It's interesting doing this from both sides. But the Community Service Board is just one of our student organizations. Another one that I'm going to share with you real quick as I pop this back up on the screen is our Student Activities Council. So on this page, you'll see this group in all their blue shirt glory. Our Student Activities Council, their signature color is this fun aqua blue color, but they are geared with providing events and activities to all students on campus. And those look different in different ways. So they might be social events, educational programs, cultural events. Either way, if you visit our website or if you go to wichita.edu/SAC, you'll see a complete offering of the events that they provide, as well as an opportunity to meet their executive council. And then if you're interested or your student is interested in planning or promoting events on campus, they can learn how to do that through this Join Us tab. Either way, the SAC page really highlights what are some of those virtual events that are going on, or even some in-person opportunities. They've got a great listing of programs that go on throughout the semester, and those can be found on this page. And as I mentioned before, the students that join the Student Activities Council, they do plan events. Those vary in different levels of experiences, but they're going to get some program management, some time management, and some critical thinking experience out of all of those. So if your student is looking for some greater skill development or the opportunity to network with a great group of friends, they're going to get that through the Student Activities Council. Now I'm going to pop this screen back on. The third group that I'm going to talk to you about is our Student Government Association. The Student Government Association is just that. They're a governing board on campus. The president actually serves as a executive within the Kansas Board of Regents. So all of our presidents at our state institutions, our student presidents at our state institutions, represent the student body with the Kansas Board of Regents, helping to advocate on behalf of the student population here. And the work that they do on campus is also based on advocacy. What is social change that needs to happen? How do we advocate for our underrepresented students? What are the services that are lacking on campus, and how can we work to increase those? Some of the initiatives that they offer to help continue to support students is they actually manage the Shocker Support Locker on campus, and that is both a food, hygiene, and clothing resource area located in Grace Wilkie Hall. So if students find themselves in need at any point, it's not necessarily an involvement opportunity, but if they find themselves in need of some of those essentials, they can go to the Shocker Support Locker and pick up food, clothing, any of those hygiene needs anytime throughout the year. Additionally, our student leaders on campus serve in Senate positions. Those senator positions are determined by the campus population. So depending on how many students are enrolled in the College of Engineering or College of Health Professions, that determines how many Senate positions exist within the Student Government Association. We currently have open Senate positions. So if your student has maybe a history of participation in their student council, if they're interested in government or political science or advocacy, a position within student government may be correct for them. So you'll see that open positions link that I just clicked, and you'll see all of those positions in student government. So we've got open Senate seats. They're also currently promoting and searching for students to serve on the election commission. And that election commission helps to provide basically governance to those students who are competing for the role for the next student government elections. So each year we get a ballot of presidents, vice presidents, and then the election commission helps determine the rules and regulations for those campaigns as they go to campaign and also debate for those positions for next year. So election commission positions are open, those Senate seats are open, and we've also got a few chair and executive board positions. So feel free to tell your student about those opportunities and help them connect with those open and available seats. So that's our Student Government Association. The last part I'm going to talk to you about, so I mentioned Community Service Board, Student Activities Council, and Student Government Association as groups that they can join. We also have a very robust fraternity and sorority life here at Wichita State. And again, that can be found at our main page at wichita.edu/involvement. Fraternity and sorority life, we have about 22 fraternities and sororities on campus, and they're broken down into different aspects. So we've got our multicultural organizations, as well as our traditional fraternities and sororities. So if you hop on the Fraternity and Sorority Life page, you'll better understand who they are, why students, if they're interested, should go Greek, and then they can also hop on and learn more about the specific councils. So you're in a fraternity council, multicultural Greek council, as well as Panhellenic council, and you can learn how to join one or any of these fraternities and sororities. So once a student joins a fraternity or sorority on campus, it's kind of a lifelong obligation. And those students are dedicated to scholarship, philanthropy, giving back to the community as well as their student group. And they're a great group of friends and future colleagues and a lot of great connections for networking. So again, if your student is looking for opportunities to connect, if they're looking for opportunities to earn some new friendships, fraternity and sorority life may be an opportunity for them. Some of our groups have different recruitment schedules, so that vary based on the student organization that they may be looking at, but they can find more information about each of those councils or student organizations here, again, through going to wichita.edu/involvement. So I know I'm talking a lot, but I want to remind you that we're going to be taking questions throughout this time. So if you do have questions, you'll just enter those in the comment section. The next area that I'm going to talk to you specifically about is not necessarily an organization that they can join, but more transferable experiences that they can gain. Our students here at Wichita State can participate in what we coin as our leadership development programs. Our first year students can participate in a program called Emerging Leaders. And Emerging Leaders is intended for first year students to get them connected to and help them better understand what are some of those critical ideas surrounding leadership experiences. So whether that's again, time management, critical thinking, or if it's more personal development. So emerging leaders help students better understand what are their own leadership styles. So whether they're an autocratic, a democratic leader, it's going to help them understand their styles, how they work in a team, and how they can cater their style to working effectively within a team, but also understanding their own teammates. So our leadership development programs, you can learn more through this leadership development tab. You'll see here, this is our institute called Leadership. That's a 5-day week-long leadership series that's offered usually in the spring. I will tell you, due to COVID-19, that program has been postponed just because we don't necessarily want to sponsor an overnight trip as it exists right now. We are working on an alternative program called Catalyst, and Catalyst will be a day-long workshop that again focuses on the personal leadership identity of the student. Other leadership opportunities you'll see here, dates and deadlines for our applications. As I mentioned, we're getting ready to promote Catalyst. In the spring semester, we'll do Summer Leadership Institute, and then we still have open applications for emerging leaders as well as engaging leaders. So you'll find these online at our website, wichita.edu/involvement. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about before I pass it on to John Lee is RSOs. So you may be familiar with the term, but those recognized student organizations on campus are what I consider to be our independently run student organizations. The groups that I mentioned before, they're advised by staff members who are dedicated to ensuring the longevity of those student groups. Our recognized student organizations are groups that have been independently developed by students, and any student can really create their own student organization with 5 members, an advisor, and a constitution. It's a great aspect of being here at Wichita State is you have the ability to create your own group, recruit members, and kind of create a longevity and a legacy around those student organizations. So student organizations at Wichita State, let me hop back on this page here. You're going to find a whole section related to recognized student organizations. You can explore ShockerSync. ShockerSync is our database dedicated to those student organizations. You can also learn how to start a new recognized student organization. So if you've got a student at home or living on campus that's kind of antsy, and maybe they've got this big idea for a student group they haven't seen on campus, they can develop that and they can start their own organization. And this section of our webpage walks them through how to be able to do that. But if you're looking for opportunities that may be a way to connect your student, ShockerSync is the way to do that. You can actually search keywords here. And I'm going to search the word gaming. As you know, gaming is a great and growing experience both within Wichita State as well as nationally. Students are getting into game design, they're getting into game competitions. And so if you search keywords on here, it's going to populate some search functions. So we've got Shocker Gaming, which is our kind of esports club. And we've also got tabletop gaming. So students who may be interested in playing board games, and that is an organization that exists for them. If your student is in engineering, you might search engineering, and if you spell it correctly, and it's going to populate biomedical engineering, Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers, Tau Beta Pi, which is an honorary engineering society. So search those keywords or interests that your student might have, and it's going to populate some resources and groups that they might be interested in joining. I'm going to search here again, gaming, and I'm going to show you if your student might be interested in Shocker Gaming. If you click on that, it sends them to the Shocker Gaming page. You can submit a contact information, a request for contact. You can also scroll down and you can see the officers. So Joe here, you can click on his profile and you can send him a direct request or question about how to join that organization. We try to make it all pretty simple of how to navigate and find that information and all of that from our main page at wichita.edu/involvement. So I'm going to wrap up in just saying all of the opportunities and that exist here at Wichita State, not only from our department, but from offices like ODI and Campus Recreation. I just want to reiterate that the purpose of these programs is to help connect them with opportunities to engage with others. So that wraps up the student organization and the involvement opportunities. I'm going to show you one last piece, and that is our events section. So experiencing campus life is super important for our students to feel connected and find events on campus. They can click this student involvement event guide and it'll send them to our calendar, which will help them better understand how to navigate what's going on. Last night we hosted a outdoor movie at Cessna Stadium that was part of our Flicks on the Field series, and we showed Bring It On. On October 8th, we'll show Jumanji: The Next Level on the field. We provide popcorn, bottled water for those students, and really all they need to do is bring a blanket and a couple of their friends and their mask, and they can view a movie out on the field. This calendar also highlights some of our other events that we have coming up. So we've got a virtual scavenger hunt. We've got exhibits that are in our Cadman Art Gallery in the Radigan Student Center, community service board meetings. So all of those opportunities you'll find here. You'll find information about our Flicks on the Field series, and even some virtual experiences that students might want to be interested in viewing museums and galleries from around the world. So we hope that you find this helpful in helping to promote some new ideas and new concepts to your students, showcase some new organizations that they might be interested in joining, or helping them find their niche and get connected on campus. So I hope that is super helpful. If you have any questions for me, you can pop those into the comment section and I'll read those off at the end. But in the meantime, I'm going to introduce to you John Lee, who is our Director of Campus Recreation, and he's going to talk to you about the opportunities that exist from his team. So hi, John.
Hello. Thank you for that informative information. You'll probably find that campus recreation and student involvement has a lot of similar goals and missions. Campus recreation's focus is to create wellness activities that promote a healthy and active lifestyle. A kind of a byproduct of that, like student involvement, student connections have to happen all the time within intramurals, sport clubs, and many other programs that we have. We're one of the largest employers on campus. We have over 100 employees, ranging from lifeguards to Group X instructors, to officials, to building managers, and just building attendants as well. And, you know, at Wichita State, you'll always hear the term frequently applied learning. So we're trying to teach them real world skills if they are employed by us. So what I thought I'd do is there's a PowerPoint that Tia could place on the screen and talk to you about our programs and services. And I like to do that through pictures and to show what we have. The Heskett Center is the home of campus recreation, but campus recreation is more than the Heskett Center. We have at least five different places around campus and around the city that we utilize to promote our programs. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. So if we move to the next slide, we're going to talk about intramurals and sport clubs. Intramural sports, just in case you don't know, are typically students playing other students at Wichita State on campus in a variety of different sports. So the picture in front of you is a group of people playing flag football. As the slide says, we have over 40 intramural sports, ranging from team sports like soccer and basketball, volleyball, sand volleyball, futsal, and so on, to individual sports like or dual sports like tennis, badminton. We even have esports gaming as well as an intramural sport. So hopefully there's something for everyone to do. Some things are really active and other things are not so much. And the next thing is sport clubs. Sport clubs typically play other universities. Not in every case. Like judos are just students that get together that want to further their judo skills. But most of our clubs, like the men and women's soccer club, play other universities, a kind of a higher level than intramurals. So if you're really good at soccer, or even if you're not, because we don't cut anybody at your high school or your club team, you join our club team. We play teams like Kansas University, Washington University in St. Louis, Texas, K-State, Texas A&M, and so on. Our goal is always to get to the national championship, which we don't do every year, but that's kind of what the team strives for anyway. So we have about 15 or 16 sport clubs currently. More are always added. The latest one all the time. The latest one is lacrosse. We're putting a lot of time and investment into that program, and hopefully that will get going soon. So if you're into lacrosse, that would be awesome to help us start a new club. But we start new clubs all the time. So again, clubs usually play other universities. So we'll go to the next slide because we're more than recreational sports and campus recreation. We'll go back up. We'll go to this first. We also have the other were club teams that are student driven, so they're student leadership positions. But we also have independent varsity sports. Two of them, our rowing team, which is located downtown. We have a boathouse downtown on the Arkansas River, and right now I think we have 59 student athletes that are on the rowing team. The best thing about the rowing team is they don't cut anybody. So whether you have lots of experience or no experience, it's a team you still can join. They do give out some scholarships for the better athletes on the team that you have to earn. They compete in the fall and in the spring, especially when there's no COVID. And they travel all over the region, and there's championships in Georgia. It's an awesome sport, a lifetime sport as well. We also have our newest sport, which is the Esports varsity team. We currently are playing 4 different games, so to speak: League of Legends, Overwatch, Rocket League, and I'm going to forget the 4th real quick, and I'll think about it in a minute. And so people have to try out for that team, and they compete against other teams across the nation, sometimes in person, a lot of times virtually as well. And they put a lot of time in each week practicing. So that's another opportunity. We'll move on to the next slide because I mentioned wellness. And special events is our next one. We have a 5K pumpkin run that has over 800 runners each year. This year we're going to do it virtually because of COVID. Usually we do it in person around the campus. But we have tons of special events each year. We keep adding and changing events. We have the health fair in the spring that brings in different health organizations from the campus and around the city to promote a healthy lifestyle. We have fun things like puppy paddle if you have a dog and you want to bring them to our pool just before we drain it. In December, we have that. We have weightlifting competitions, a haunted house. It's not listed there, but we also have a beach party. And we're always trying to think of new and fun things to add to our list. We'll move to the next slide. And wellness program. We have an F45 program. Maybe in the city you live in, there's an F45 gym. They can be anywhere across the nation. Wichita State is lucky enough to have an F45 gym, and it doesn't cost anything extra to be in. It's F45 is functional fitness in 45 minutes. Every day there's different routines and different equipment. And people around the country are usually doing the same type of exercise that day. And there you can notice there's TV screens on the wall and you follow those type of things. So it's a great workout in a fun, high energy atmosphere. We also have Glide Fit in the pool, which is could be cardio based or yoga based on boards that are in the pool. We also have the cheapest massage therapy. If you want to have a massage in town, you're a little stressed from taking too many tests or homework, massages cost $35 for a half hour and $55 for a full hour. And we also have many wellness and nutritional talks, both online and in person. Obviously, what you eat and how much you move can sometimes improve your mental aspects of your day. So we try to promote that as well. And we'll move to the next one. We're not doing outdoor adventures this semester, probably even in the spring, but when we are allowed to travel again, we do have an outdoor adventure program, and these are some of the ones we've gone on in the last 2 years. Whitewater rafting in Oklahoma City, horseback riding, going to either the Chiefs or the Royals game, skiing in Winter Park, Oceans of Fun, spelunking. There is a fee we try just to charge what the cost of the trip would go. We're not trying to make any money off of this, but we're always thinking of new places to go as long as people are interested. So that's another fun way to get to know people, do something different. And if you're someone if your student has never been outside of Wichita or their area they lived in, we try to go to places that are, broaden their experience and see more of the Midwest. So we'll go to the next slide. And I just want to show you our facilities real quick because we have lots of them. Our pool is 25 meters by 25 yards, a lot of lap swimming. In the distance, you might be able to see the diving well, so you can dive off our diving boards. We have a lot of fitness classes in here, a lot of lap swimming. People just come up in the pool, of course, to play basketball in the pool or and just splash about as well. So that's our pool. Where we play intramurals and club sports is over at the Metroplex, which is about 29th and Oliver, not too far from campus, about a mile down the road. And we have 3 fields. 2 of them are lit, and one of them's not. And that's where we play intramurals, and our club sports practice all the time. It's a really nice field. So that's some of our facilities. We'll move to the next page. And our latest thing that we added in November was an Esports Hub. We have 20 computers, 2 television screens in the back so you can play Xbox or PlayStation. And we also have a virtual reality VR gaming as well that you can use. There's 20 spots, and maybe the key thing to note is there's no extra charge for this to come in and play. Just come into the HESC Center, swipe your ID, and come here. And it's also a great place for gamers to hang out and develop those student connections with people with a similar interest. And I think it's appropriate to have it in the HESC Center because we also try to promote getting up from the computer and being active as well. On the right is a picture of our basketball courts. We have 3 wood basketball courts, 2 synthetic courts. All the courts are college-sized basketball courts, and you can play badminton, volleyball, basketball, of course, and a number of other things. We have a 200-meter track that the track team actually practices on. It's a great track to run on or walk, especially on a cold winter day and it's icy outside. So we get a lot of activity in our gym every day. And we have a couple more things to show you. We have tennis courts, and we have 4 tennis courts, and we kind of converted a couple of the tennis courts into an outdoor futsal and basketball, half-court basketball. We got 2 half-court basketball. This is the only place on campus at night that you can be outside. You just press a button, the lights will come on, that you can enjoy the outdoors at night on campus and as a student. And like I said, all you do is press a button. Last night, I think we had about 50 people out there playing and moving and having fun. On the right is our the dock. Our boathouse is down on the Arkansas River. And we also have a small rental program where you can rent kayaks and paddle boats, as you see there, stand-up paddle boards, even rowing ergs or machines, not ergs, but rowing shells to go on the river. There's a fee for that, but that's a program we also offer, especially on a nice day like it is today in Wichita. So we're always trying to promote that spot as well. And I think that, click to the next one. Yeah, that's it. So those are the kinds of things we offer. Just like student involvement, we're always, looking at our programs, adding more, and trying to improve them. So, if you have any questions on anything I presented, or if you wanted more details that I didn't go into, just enter them in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer them.
John, I don't think we have any questions at this time, but I did want to pop your website up real quick and kind of show them what they can do right now. Because like Pumpkin Run, they can register for that. It also has some of your social media links on here. So this is the Campus Recreation website, which is just wichita.edu/campus recreation. We've got Pumpkin Run going on. You'll see Pumpkin Run registration right from here. If your student is or you are interested in connecting with more from Campus Rec, they're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can follow them at the links below. You've also got hours of operation down here. I know we talked earlier about intramurals, specifically our intramural leagues they've started up. Yes, John, or no?
Yes, we're finishing up sand volleyball last night, and next week, not next week, but the week after, we start flag football. We're starting a little later this year because of COVID and getting things set up for that. But flag football, starts next week.
Yeah. And you all use for intramural sports a program called IM Leagues?
IM Leagues, where you register your team and participants can register themselves. And that's how you would sign up for intramurals or any particular event. And you just follow the link, and it just takes you through it.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks like there's quite a few activities and things up here that folks can register for. So if you've got an active student or maybe a student who is looking to be more active, intramurals might be a good fit for them, right?
Yes, and we have added a number of things virtually this year. So if you're whether maybe being stayed at home and there's a fishing derby closed, but just kind of a contest who can catch the biggest fish, or running or deer hunting and those type of things. You kind of do it on your own and just report it, and then we give out T-shirts for the winners. And also there's a bunch of esports ones that are virtual as well. So those are new, but we also still running the traditional ones as well.
Okay. So if a student was to walk into like the Heskett Center right now, what are some of the things that they could do?
Well, if you walked in, you could come park our Esports Hub and game there. You can go up to our basketball courts and play basketball and badminton and those type of things. The F45 here is going on as we speak. We offer 4 classes a day, Monday through Friday, and a couple on the weekend. We also have, we kind of partner in a way with student involvement in this, but they have a bunch of programs that involve dance, and we have studios that if you're into dance or cultural dancing and that kind of stuff, people can reserve a spot in the Heskett Center as an individual or as a group to practice their dance, like for Hippodrome or Songfest and years those are happening. We also have a weight room where it's kind of more performance zone based, where an individual or team people can try to improve their cardio and their weightlifting ability there as well. So those are just a few of them that you could do if you came in today. And swimming, you can jump in the swimming pool and have fun down there as well.
You also mentioned about the basketball courts. I know we saw futsal. tennis, some of those. What if folks don't have their own equipment?
That's a good question. We have an equipment room that you just come. It doesn't cost you anything. Just bring to get into the Heskett Center, you have to have your Shocker ID card, or at least you might have issue ID number, and you swipe to come in. Then at the equipment room, you just bring that card. We swipe your ID, and then we check out basketballs, badminton, racquetball. I didn't even mention that we have racquetball courts as well. So almost everything that you can think of that you can use in the Heskett Center we have. We even have a few outdoor things like soccer balls and that you can play outdoors, or footballs and things of that nature. But no extra charge if you don't have the equipment. And even on our esports computers, you can check out a keyboard, headset, and a mouse that are e-gaming type mice and keyboards to game and have fun there.
Cool. All right, so John, I believe those are all the questions I have at this time. It looks like we didn't get any other questions from our followers. I think we're probably just very thorough people.
Yes. Oh, here's one.
Actually, we do. So I'm going to pop this up on the screen. Adrian asks, are the student clubs, RSOs, starting to meet and have in-person activities, or mostly meeting virtually? Is going online the only way to connect with them? I'll answer that question for me, and then maybe you can talk about some of the club sports here in a second. So Adrian, they vary. So our students, because a lot of our student organizations are independently run, they have made their own decisions on whether they are meeting in person or virtually. So if your student is interested in joining one of those groups, as I showed on Shocker Sync, they would just need to contact that group and ask them kind of what their procedures are and how they're meeting right now. Our Student Activities Council is they're meeting virtually, as well as our Community Service Board, but both of those are also hosting some in-person events. And a lot of our student groups have made the decisions to meet virtually just by nature of their coursework. So a good number of student courses are virtual right now. So our students aren't necessarily on campus. They might be in the community or working from home or somewhere else that they're commuting from. And so they've made those decisions to kind of operate on a virtual level for meetings, but they are hosting some of those in person. But I would say that it varies from group to group, and that a student would need to reach out to those groups. I think to the note of our student groups starting to meet, I think as we know, as we've seen with K through 12 and higher education, some policies and decisions were a little slow to move out. And I think our student groups are finally starting to get their feet on the ground and have been making those decisions. They've got their student leader positions now in place. We, like most institutions, we ran into some kinks I'd say in March and April, when majority of our students would have had elections and would have had that change of leadership. Some of that has just started happening in August and September for those groups. So they have been a little slower to get up and moving, but now we're starting to see more and more activity happening. So I would encourage you to visit shockersync.wichita.edu to see where some of our student groups are, and your student could reach out to them individually and see where they might be at in their organization of events or in their meetings. So I'll add John back in and see if he has anything to add to that question.
Yeah, as far as sport clubs go, all the clubs that wanted to practice had to submit a COVID-19 plan. So we could make sure they're being safe. But once they did that, they are more than welcome to practice, and many of them have. A few of them, their seasons has been postponed because we're not allowed to travel, and Wichita State's not alone in that. The schools that we would compete against have also postponed. For example, men's and women's soccer won't start any earlier than February as matches go. So they're still practicing a little bit, but maybe not as hard as they would have. But they're allowed to practice right now.
All right. Well, John, unless somebody pops another question up here, I don't think we have any more at this time. Adrian, I thank you for your question. I'm going to pop you out of here, and thank you again, John, for joining us. For other folks, if you're just tuning in or maybe you missed the first part of this presentation, we'll be back again today at 6 o'clock for the Active and Involved Shocker with student involvement in campus recreation. If you did get a chance to view this whole presentation and maybe you're looking for something else, tomorrow at 10 a.m. we'll have a session called Keeping Connected, and that is intended to be a parent and family meeting presented by our Assistant Vice President of Student Affairs, Alicia Newell. So you'll get to hear more from kind of what's going on to not only support your shocker, but support you all, those parents and family members who might be either living still with your shockers or concerned about kind of what's happening on campus if they are living residentially. So again, thank you for joining us for Shocker Family Connections. This session will be offered again at 6, or we might see you tomorrow at 10 p.m. Thank you all and have a great day.